And it was a celebratory weekend, not just because of the hot tub and the good weather outside and the stogies on the back porch, but in the Draisaitl household, both Leon and Donnie's, it was a big weekend for the Edmonton Oilers, who win the final 3 games of the Western Conference Finals to earn the Oilers' first berth into the Stanley Cup final in nearly 2 decades. For the first time since 2005, Edmonton is back in the Stanley Cup final, 4 wins away from bringing Lord Stanley's Cup back to the Great White North in Canada. A 2-1 win for the Oilers last night at home in Edmonton, inside Rogers Place. 2-1 the victory for the Oilers that featured a magnificent goal from Connor McDavid that got the scoring started last night. McDavid, the best player in the National Hockey League, now has a shot to bring home its ultimate prize.
Yeah, how about this? It used to be when you take a look at the Edmonton Oilers and the way they played, it was a lot of sizzle, but without the steak at this point. And now we are eating steak and eating good right now. Why? Because Edmonton is actually a good defensive hockey club. Who said that? The Oilers, a 2-1 victory here, scored twice in the first period. Hold on after that third period goal about midway through. The Oilers, I mean, we talked about a couple weeks ago, we were saying, like, which teams can get there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to root for Edmonton here, knowing that it probably is going to end in a little bit of despair. Now, granted, it still possibly can, but this team has showed us a lot over the last 2 rounds here that they can beat very good opponents and beat them in a defensive-oriented game like you saw last night. Let's see where the Oilers wind up here. One thing we know, they wound up in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Stuart Skinner, the netminder for Edmonton, faced 35 shots last night, and he saved 34. Meanwhile, Connor McDavid and the Oilers scored 2 goals, and yet they only had 10 shots on net. They were outshot 35-10 and still emerged victorious as a -140 home money line favorite in game number 6. 2-1, a total stays under 5.5 because of the excellence out of Stuart Skinner last night. And DRS, a small mistake on my end, a correction here. 2006, not 2005, as the Draisaitl household, Donnie Draisaitl, knows very well. But the Oilers still back in the Cup final for the first time in 18 years. Expected to be here at the season start. Time for the third best price to win Lord Stanley's Cup. And now Connor McDavid and the rest of the Oilers recognizing that potential. We go Major League Baseball. What a game it was yesterday out in San Francisco. 2 home runs for Juan Soto as the Yankees rally in the top of the 9th, scoring 4, and they win 7-5. Juan Soto, a excellent weekend out there by the Bay in the series finale. His teammate Aaron Judge, sensational in San Fran as well. They miss Arson Judge up there by the Bay. 7-5 the victory for the Yanks as they complete the sweep over the Giants.
Yeah, 11 hits out of the New York Yankees. You take a look at that lineup, 1, 2, and 3. Volpe, 2 base hits. Soto, 3 base hits. Judge, 2 base hits. That's a way to set the table for an exciting day at the ball yard for those Yankees. Now with 42 wins here, the only question is going to be is Garrett Cole throwing off the mound now. When is he going to return? And also, what is that record going to turn out to be for the New York Yankees with 42 wins and only 19 losses now?
The best record in baseball. Sorry, it's not really short right there. 42-19 for New York. The most wins in all of MLB. The best winning percentage, a few percentage points in front of the Philadelphia Phillies, who we will discuss here as well in just a little bit, going back around the weekend around the diamond. Some WNBA news. What a weekend it was for Caitlin Clark. Of course, a ton of focus after Saturday's game against the Chicago Sky and a foul on Kennedy Carter of the Sky that was upgraded by the W to a flagrant 1 on Sunday afternoon. With so much focus, we go into a quadruple header on a Sunday. And the Indiana Fever on the road against the New York Liberty get absolutely hammered in that basketball game. New York victorious 104-68 as Indiana struggles on the second leg of a back-to-back. The Liberty easily covers a 14.5-point favorite.
Yeah, it's interesting here that you have a lot of back-to-backs here where it's more like we got to squeeze these games in on the weekend. And certainly if you are on a back-to-back road game, that's going to be tough for you. So a win for the Fever and then a loss for the Fever and a bad one to the Liberty. But we have to say this. 12 teams in the league, 8 teams do make the playoffs. Right. There's a lot of really good basketball teams, some higher up echelon, but also a lot of really bad basketball teams. So if you look at the Fever at 2-9, all their season is a wash, it's really not. They're right in it for that 8th seed here to make the playoffs.
And they have been that focal point in the WNBA because of the number 1 overall pick and the superstar that is Caitlin Clark. Indiana's game last night, the 11th of the season for the Fever. Nobody has played more than 9. That was the second back-to-back for Indiana this year. Only 4 other teams in the WNBA have even played a single back-to-back. Because of all the notoriety surrounding Clark and her Fever team, they have had to play a lot in this grueling stretch. They are off for a few days. It will feel like a pseudo vacation for the Fever. The Connecticut Sun, though, the best team in the W. They continue their perfect start to this year, now 8-0, as the Sun show off why they are the best defensive team in the WNBA. 69-50 yesterday in Atlanta. Connecticut covers easily as a 2.5-point favorite. Unsurprisingly, a total of 158.5 stays under.
That's incredible, holding a team to 50 points, which included 7 points in the fourth quarter here, 69-50, 8-0. By the way, that was a dream team that came into this game at 4-2. It wasn't as if they were looking for their first win like the Mystics at this point. So there you go. Sun, best team in the WNBA. We'll find out.
As of right now, one of those 3 teams from a year ago, alongside Las Vegas and New York, that won 25 games or more. Now to the NFL. The Washington Commanders releasing kicker Brandon McManus after a lawsuit came out a week ago that detailed sexual assault allegations during his time playing for Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's pretty simple in the NFL. If you're an average kicker, they will make a point to release you and say, we won't have this in our franchise. But if that was your starting quarterback, number 2 overall pick, number 1 overall pick, you know what they say, Ben? We're going to let the legal side play it out. We have no comment at this time. That's just the way professional sports operates.
Not in this case. Washington releasing Brandon McManus. Now to the golf. The U.S. Women's Open at Lancaster Country Club. Lancaster Country Club. Yuka Sasso wins her second U.S. Open. She has 2 victories in her career on the LPGA Tour, both at the U.S. Open back in 2021. Her first yesterday, becoming a multiple major winner at Lancaster Country Club in the 2024 U.S. Women's Open.
Yeah, good performance. And also, when we take a look at the U.S. Open, what do we usually not see here, Ben? -15, -16, -17. It's a true test of golf here. So low scores there, fun time. But also, we're expecting Nelly Korda to be here on a Sunday. Blew it up early in that tournament. Didn't even see it. I don't even think she saw the weekend, did she, at that point? So
she did not make the cut, no. Sasso was one of 2 golfers to finish under par. Robert McIntyre, victorious at the Canadian Open with his pops on the bag, and of course French Open stuff. Iga Swiatek and Coco Gauff on to the quarterfinals. More on the early line next.